Alright, we're back. This is what we're going to do now, what we have done. I've actually went to the distributor, and two screws here you can see that go to the coil. Those are pretty high load circuits here on the coil. I've already actually pulled those off and found some corrosion and stuff underneath the screws. So that was probably, it looked like a little bit of arcing or something going on there, so good chance that was semi-losing connection on that. And as I pointed out earlier, the wire we got going back here to the igniter, the insulation is literally melted off the wire and the spade connector, all that, so the integrity of that wire right there is not very good, and that goes underneath the breaker plate here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to pull the three screws out of this breaker plate. We're going to pull that off, and we're going to go into that and find out just what kind of shape that wire's in, because I believe that one right there is either a trigger or a reference wire or something, but it looks like it's been overheating. It's actually melted the insulation off the wire, and it's got shrink tubing around it, so you really can't tell what this breaker plate the rest of the integrity of the wire is into that. And so we're going to find out what we're going to pull that breaker plate off, just what kind of shape that wire's in, and I believe that one right there is either a trigger or a reference wire or something, but it looks like it's been overheating. It has actually melted the insulation off the wire, and it's got shrink tubing around it, so you really can't tell what the rest of the integrity of the wire is. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull that breaker plate off, and we're going to go into that and fix that wire, put a new spade connector on it, put some new shrink tubing on it, whatever we got to do to fix that wire to where I'm happy with the results of that. And we're going to go through the distributor and check all the other wires, make sure there's no other wires that are bad. Check all the connectors, clean all the connections. Any wires that don't look like they're in good shape, we're going to redo those. And we're going to use my trusty scope here to do our voltage or ohms checks or whatever we got to do to the distributor to make sure the wire integrity is good. And we're going to put the distributor back on, or jump it like we did before with the jumper cables. We're going to leave the distributor out, but we're going to plug it back in, and we're going to recheck it. And we are receiving a cam signal, because we can cycle the pump and we can do all that, but we intermittently keep losing spark. So it either has to be in these two connectors down here that go to the coil, just not feeding the proper voltage to the coil, or it could be our trigger wire here that's bad, but we still got wires we got to fix over here. You got to go through that and cut the insulation back and go through them wires over here to make sure the integrity of these wires are also good. And once we do that, then we should have the problem fixed. Because like I said, it was an intermittent. I could move the distributor around, everything like that, and sometimes the cam signal would work, sometimes it wouldn't. Other times it would spark, other times it wouldn't. And just by playing with these wires, just by moving the distributor around, everything like that, was making our signals come and go. So I'm sure that the problem we're having is either in the distributor itself or right here in these wires, to where they got them all cut up and taped up and whatever's going on there. So